Julius Thomas, and prior to that, he's gone now, but Zane Beadles, because they just love to overpay for Denver Broncos free agents down there.
Yeah, they certainly did.
So, we got the big money Broncos free agents matchup this weekend for Broncos fans. If you want to tune in and see if either one of them can do something in this game, because they're both kind of having bad seasons, I guess. All right, this next game, I got this game really right there with New England and Seattle as potential just best games of the weekend. Dallas and Pittsburgh, big matchup. Big Ben's back. He's going to be back the second week, getting better from that surgery. Le'Veon Bell's kind of been getting going. I expect Antonio Brown to really get off this week. Against the Dallas team, let's face it, that defense this season has been playing above their ability. And now they're going to run into a buzzsaw that is the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. They're supposed to get Green back this week, the tight end. He could be playing this weekend. I'm taking Pittsburgh winning big in this game and kind of bringing Dallas back down to earth.
Yeah, I'm with you. So one of the things I was looking up before the show tonight was looking at some of the Vegas action that's going on in this game. So this game opened at a 3-point favorite for the Steelers, they were favored in this game, and over 90% of the public has bet on Dallas taking the points. And usually when it gets to that kind of distinction, I think the article I was reading said anytime it gets over 80% of the public on one side, that's when you know Vegas knows something. So Vegas is on Steelers. I'm with you. I'm on Steelers. I think Big Ben, he got some of the rust off last week for sure. He didn't really do much until tail end of the fourth quarter there. Got Antonio Brown involved. Dallas has given up over 70% completion percentage over the last 3 or 4 games. So look for Antonio Brown in the screen game, the slants, and then hit a couple deep balls. I agree. I think Antonio Brown poses a huge problem for that Dallas secondary, missing 2 of their top corners. If he gets off high scoring for Pittsburgh, I think Dallas will still be able to run the ball on Pittsburgh. Jay Ajayi had over 200 yards against him just a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And Elliott's far better than he will ever be.
Yeah.
And that offensive line can just push people around. So I actually got this game close. I got Pittsburgh pulling it out 29-28.
Nice. That would be a fun game to watch if it ends up that close, for sure. All right, let's get the listeners, the top players to play for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo this weekend. Who should we be looking at?
So I know you got a lot to go on for the show today, so I'm going to run through these pretty quick. And for all the listeners out there, you can always see all of the information we talk about on thedirtcannon.com. We've opened up a new section called Fantasy Playbook, so just go ahead and click that link, and you'll be able to get all of this information and much more at your fingertips.
Very nice.
I'm going to run through them pretty quick, and then I'll let you get on with it. So quarterbacks this week, top quarterbacks for this week are going to be Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Matt Ryan, because of his consistency so far, is probably the player to have if you're looking for consistency. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the ball probably 50, 55 times, so he's another one that's going to have a ton of usage and high potential. Drew Brees goes against Denver's defense, which New Orleans tends to play just above and beyond at home. That should be a pretty good game between New Orleans and Denver and Drew Brees because they don't really have much of a running game. I think they're going to throw a lot and a lot of screen play. So he could be one that's sneaky play, low-owned for sure. I'd take Matt Ryan of that group. If you're looking for a cheap QB, go with Case Keenum this week against the terrible Jets.
Really? Okay, that one I am surprised. Case Keenum this week. Okay.
Yeah, he's super cheap, and likelihood of him getting about 20 fantasy points this week is pretty high against that Jets secondary. So if you're looking for value, that's the value play for sure.
Nice.
All right, moving on. Running backs. So top running backs this week, obviously we've got Elliott, we've got Le'Veon Bell, and then coming off a bye week, we've got David Johnson. For Arizona, David Johnson by far highest projected player of the week going against San Francisco, coming off a week where they gave up 158 yards to Mark Ingram. David Johnson's in for a big week, so he's the top guy to have. Again, another value play, kind of on a hot streak. Jay Ajayi, we talked a little bit about him before, but he's had over 200 yards in 2 of the last 3 weeks, over 110 yards last week, and a score in all of those games. So Dolphins are starting to get the running game going. Look for him to still have another pretty good game against San Diego's banged-up defense.
For sure.
Wide receivers, top 3 wide receivers, you got A.J. Green, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. Those are the top 3 projected wide receivers this week. Again, I think Antonio Brown's the guy to have this week. For some reason, with the way the Vegas' line has gone, with the information that we've got about the Dallas secondary, I think Antonio Brown gets like 15 catches in this game. Probably ends up with over 150 yards or more and a couple scores. So he's the guy I like. And if you're really looking for value on Yahoo and Daily, DeAndre Hopkins is about half the price of any of those receivers that I mentioned. So you've got Houston going against Jacksonville. Hopkins hasn't had any real big games. Fuller's expected to come back, which I think opens up the passing game for Hopkins. He won't have to run so many intermediate routes and going for 8 yards and those kind of things. I think he'll be able to get deep a little bit. So if you're looking for value, he's a guy I think could have a big game this week.
Nice. All right. I like that a lot. Especially, again, going back to the Antonio Brown against the Cowboys. I see similar things happening for him. I just have the feeling. Now, again, we both had this feeling about Cincinnati earlier in the season with the Cowboys.
With the complete opposite. And
so,
with Pittsburgh, you just never know what you're going to get these days, so that could totally go.
Right. Very true. Very true.
For sure. All right, tight ends. Let me get us some tight ends. So for this week, obviously it's Rob Gronkowski's the top tight end in the league, over 100 yards and a score. Pretty much every game that he plays with Brady. So look for that to continue. Seattle again, 28th against defense, or 28th against tight ends on defense for the season in terms of fantasy points against. A couple other tight ends that Jordan Reed, again, as I mentioned when we talked about the Minnesota game, I think if Washington's going to have any success, it's going to go through Jordan Reed in the passing game. They got a couple injuries at wide receiver, so look for him to get quite a few targets. And then you've got Carolina's Greg Olsen, who leads the league in targets. He's going to get a ton of opportunities, so he's pretty consistent, get around 60, 70 yards and a score almost every week or right about there. So look for that to continue. And cheap value play at tight end this week is Antonio Gates. So he just continues to produce. Hunter Henry's injury is still giving him fits. I'm not sure he's going to be a game-time decision. So certainly if Hunter Henry's out, that means Gates will see around 8 to 10 targets in that game, and especially in the red zone. So I look for San Diego, Miami to be a higher scoring game as it is, and Gates could be a pretty good value play for you at tight end.
Yeah, especially since they've proven they can't guard tight end. So, yeah, pick up. If you can get Gates, get him.
Exactly. So, I think the last thing I'll leave us with before I get out is just going to be defenses for this week. So, obviously, the top defense going against San Francisco is going to be Arizona's defense. If you're playing for the whole week, Baltimore against Cleveland's probably not a bad play, but Arizona's the top defense. Eagles are causing the most turnovers over the last few weeks. Atlanta gives up quite a few turnovers on the road, so that could be another sneaky defense. It's tough to play Eagles against the top offense, but you never know what you're going to get with those guys.
Yeah.
And I like, on the opposite side of that game, Atlanta's defense. Atlanta's been pretty opportunistic. They're giving up a ton of yards. But if you're just looking to get about 8 points in value play, or they're going to be one of the cheapest defenses in the league, Eagles have had at least 2 turnovers in each of the last 3 games. So look for Atlanta to get a couple turnovers in that game, maybe a couple sacks, and get you right around 8 points if you're looking for cheap defense.
Nice, very good. All right, that is Cunningham's picks with Jeremy Cunningham from thedirtcannon.com. Jeremy, I have to thank you. Much appreciated for calling in. Love our time together. Let's do this again next week. All right, you too, sir.
All right, thanks.
All right, that was Jeremy Cunningham from thedirtcannon.com with Cunningham's picks. They are a local Colorado company, so check them out. Have them help you win some money.
Hey guys, the NFL is back. It's time to win some cash playing fantasy football. TheDirtCannon.com is a local company that has your back. They have produced over 60% winners on FanDuel, DraftKings, and now even Yahoo. TheDirtCannon.com will help you build, play, and win. Build a better team with TheDirtCannon.com. Use promo code RDST and get $5 off forever, and try the Silver membership this week for free. Visit TheDirtCannon.com.
All right, so we just did Cunningham's picks. Now we're going to get into some stories that are going around in the NFL world, and then we'll get into, and I will cover at the end of the show, this election and what's going on with that kind of stuff. We just got to get it out there. I feel, like that I have this platform to use, and I need to just express it. Whether it's divisive, I hope not. I hope it gives you something to think about, and can lead us in a direction where we can get things right, get things good, And it's going to be real talk. That's all I can say. It's going to be real talk. It took me some time to get through everything and try and figure it out over the last 24 hours, almost 24 hours now. And I'm going to try and do my best for everybody to help you all out and help myself out at the same time. All right, let's get into some stories. Hall of Fame committee has decided that for posthumously enshrined inductees, they will not be issuing rings or jackets for those enshrinees to their family. And, some people have issue with that. Some people, even Washington's owner, Mr. Snyder, said that they should go ahead and get the rings and the jacket. On this one, however, I think I have to go ahead and agree with the Hall of Fame on this one. The jacket and the ring are something special to the enshrinee, something that they can wear, that they can have, that they earn. It's not a mantelpiece. It's not a family heirloom, or at least that's not what it's meant to be. They might turn into that for each of these individuals that are so lucky to be inducted, but that's not the purpose. It's it's an elite club, and it's not for the family. It's not their accomplishment. It's not for them to have as a memento of their loved one. That's just not what it is. And not everything can be that way. Some things are just what they are. And in this case, they have decided this is what it is. This is how we do it. This is what the ceremony is. And it doesn't take away from their accomplishment or their induction. You can still go see and learn and know about them at the same Hall of Fame as everybody else. The family just doesn't get an expensive ring and a gold jacket. I get that. I'm with that. I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me. It may, if it bothers you, hey, voice it out. Get on the text line. Let me know about it. Say something. We'll talk about it. We'll get through it. 720-515-5597. Do you think that the families of posthumously inducted Hall of Fame enshrinees should receive a Hall of Fame ring and jacket for their loved one who had made it in that is no longer with us? Let me know. Text in. Moving on. We have breaking election news. If you guys don't know yet, I have some breaking election news. Everybody's been waiting for this, I know. The San Diego Chargers vote for a stadium did not go through. So it's very likely at this point the people of San Diego, they're not willing to pay for it. I understand it's a lot of money. We don't like all kinds of new taxes. We want all of our stuff for free, and we want it now. We want it easy. We don't want to work hard. We want to figure out a nice, easy way to do it. Let's get a computer or a robot, please. I want my life to be easy and entertainment. Grow